Hi everyone, this is Joe. It has been a long time for us to have this kind of live stream community call, and hope you guys miss this. And I think today we got some insightful information for all of you guys, including some we will reiterate how to use the observation link to our mining pools to give you some full transparency. I think that not much competitors or peer have provided before, and also I will share some mining industry outlook and what's happening and what's going on in this market. All right, and that's my list. I will share with you some alternative investments to HAG to give you some pictures about what the peers perform, and you can make your own decisions based on this. And by the way, this is my new computer, so I think everything's work more fluently. So yeah, I think it's good to have you guys here, and feel free to leave your questions live in any languages. I will try to translate those questions and reply you. I think in pretty short times. So yeah, I think let me share with you the agenda. Okay, everything good, cool. So yeah, this is our agenda. So today, like I said, we'll first talk about wait a second, let me a little bit smaller and down right here. Okay, cool. So yeah, this is our agenda. First, we'll work through again the observation link, and then we'll talk with you some mining outlook after post the halving, and then I'll share with you some alternative investments and what's the situation be like, especially on two categories. First will be the global BTC mining companies that has been listed. Their stocks has been listed in the traditional financial markets, and also some alternative investments in the traditional financial world for you to have some sense about what's the different choices could be like. So yeah, I think first let's jump into the observation link to the mining pools. I think, like I said, I believe there is no company, the publicly listed company, the mining company that provide their observation link. I think if there is some company that do so, I think the number will be not that much. But HAG want to provide you this, right? We want to provide you the full transparency to our mining pool. Okay, so here's a link. Here's a QR code. Let me make my a little bit smaller. So here's a QR code. You can scan this QR code. They will guide you to our mining pools. So when you scan this QR code, it will bring you here. This is our mining pool, the observation link to the mining pools. We talked how to read those figures on this dashboard. The total income is the total BTC that we have mined from the mining server start operations, I think in January, the end of January. The total payout means that we usually try to get the mined BTC into our wallets to make sure that there is no counterparty risk. All right, and here's some yesterday revenue disclosure, and also some estimation for today's. So under here you can see some situation about the mining servers, how they work. So hopefully we get 251 S21 online and they are fully online. So this is pretty good. I think typically the online rate vary a lot, but this kind of 100% online rate or 95% plus online rate means that our operation side is really doing a good job. And for the DAT and offline, since those mining servers are offline, so typically you could just ignore this number. The most important thing is how much is online. This is the most important things. When you scroll down a little bit, right, I would like to showcase it. Here's the item, the sheets you could select, and that's focus on the reward side. So in here you will see the daily rewards, the historical daily rewards, that is fully transparent, fully on-chain, so everything is accurate and without any manipulations, So today I would like to further reiterate about this number, this amount. This amount, like for example on May 5th, the gross yield is 0.0399681 BTC on May 5th. And you can see there's a bonus right here, 0.20344,054. So what's this? We mentioned in the previous video also, this means the gas fee we collected from verifying the transactions on chain. So this number depends, right? It varied a lot. For example, like on April 26, the number is 0.2076798, right? But it goes down every day, but it goes up as well. So like I said, this depends on the demand of the Bitcoin networks. If there's a huge increase of activities like the rooms that happen right after the halving effect, I think on that day we could check, right? I think the halving happens on the April 20th. So you can see the bonus after the halving is crazy. It's 0.105 blah 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 blah, right? So on that day when the event, the demand to the Bitcoin network is going up, our bonus will get up. I think that's why we always talking about, as a Bitcoin miner, we love the prosperity of Bitcoin network, since we could collect the gas fee from the user, right, to this network. So yeah, basically this is how could you read this observation link in more detail. All right, let's jump back. The next part I would like to share with you is about the mining industry outlook after the halvings. Every week we will share with you some weekly data, but we have quote the source. So here's the source. You can scan this QR code. They will guide you to the same source we have, right? So if you scan this QR code, it will bring you to this page. Okay, so for this page, there are several things I would like to share. First is the daily average hash rate. So this means that how much hash rate existed in this total network. You could consider like how many machines, how many mining servers is online, and so we aggregate all the hash power behind every mining server that is online. Together we get this number, right? So if we zoom in a little bit, so you can see the April 20 is the day we have the Bitcoin halving. So after that day, the Bitcoin hash power goes up. It's kind of like interesting things, because when halving happens, right, that means that for typical mining server, for all miners, our acquisition cost for the BTC will get higher, right? But since like we have mentioned, like 1 day or 2 days after the halving, there's a huge demand into the Bitcoin network. So the bonus, the gas fee, is surge crazy, right? Like the bonus we get the day after the halving is 0.1 plus BTC. So that's crazy, right? So because of this, you can see the total hash power goes up, and then you fluctuate, right? You still fluctuate. So that means that there's no significant decrease for the server that is online and I will try to elaborate more why this might happen. Okay, later on. So this is first we talk about the total hash rate. That means you can see like how much hash rate, how much participants is in the markets. All right, and this number will affect the mining difficulty. So usually mining difficulty adjusts every 2 weeks, right? Let me zoom in a little bit. And if there is more participants existing in the network, then typically on the next week and on the next cycle, the mining difficulty will go down to let the total rewarded BTC to goes down, because this is all dynamically rebalanced. What I mean rebalanced, let me try to reiterate. This is dynamically adjusted about every 2 weeks. So since after the halving, right after the halving, you could see the total hash rate goes up, right? And after 1 day or 2 days after the halving, and total hash rate remains about the same after the halving as well. So you can see the mining difficulty goes up, and there's no significantly evidence that the mining difficulty will go down, since the total hash rate in the market is about the same. So I would like to try to mention why this is the case, because if you use the logical mindset to analyze this, right? So typically when the Bitcoin halving happens, right, the acquisition cost will goes up for every Bitcoin miners. And so that means that if the miners, they use the older, like the old versions, the old series of mining servers, right, the S19s or before, right, the acquisition cost to mine the Bitcoin might be 50K plus or 60K plus, depends on the electricity price they get. And typically those electricity cost for them is prepaid, and besides, every Bitcoin miner, they usually mine and hold the Bitcoin. So because of these two reasons, because they prepaid, so they got a 1 month buffer to survive a little bit longer, plus they still have some BTC on hand. So because of these two reasons, we do not see the significant drops for the total hash rate within the industry at this point of time. But maybe 1 month or 2 months later, when the buffer is getting like thinner and thinner, there should be more mining servers that is not profitable enough to let them shut down their mining servers. And if that's true, the total hash rate within the network will go down. And if the total hash rate is going down, that means that rewarded BTC will goes down. That will make the network to dynamically adjust itself to let the mining difficulty goes down as well, right? So this is some mechanisms for the Bitcoin network, and also this is some market situations. So the brief summary is that it is not strange to see that the total hash rate is not going down significantly after the halving. But I think 1 month or 2 months later, the situation might change a little bit, because the buffer for those miners who are not getting the new the servers that is more efficient like us, the situation might make them need to shut down their mining servers. So I think one thing I would like to shout out to S21 is that first, as you can see in the observation league, we acquired 251 S21, right? And all the S21 is online. I think this is pretty good. And secondly, I think S21 efficiency is really impressive, like compared to the previous series of previous generations of mining servers. So I think these two factors make HAG has some good standing point within this competitions among the Bitcoin mining participants. So yeah, this is the second thing I would like to share. It is about some mining activities happens within the industry, and I will share it to you. So the next part I will share with you is some alternative investments that compared to HAG, there's some alternative investment for you guys, of course. But we could go through some historical performance of that, and you could have your own decisions on this. To be honest, HAG, we get a good standing point. I mean, in terms of the innovation and also the compliance, the technology innovations as well, and also the financial innovation as well. So, in the traditional financial world, typically you invest in the stocks, ETFs, or index, or different yield bearing kind of products before. And for the crypto, if you're really sensitive to the risk, like compliance risk, counterparty risks, there might be the significant concern for you guys, right? So HAG will try to acquire the benefits of these two sides. We are compliance, and we are innovations. We are using the good things from the Web3 and also the good thing from the Web2, right? So we try to bring you the access to the Bitcoin mining in a compliance way, because we are US SEC filing offerings, and transparent way. We provide you the observation link, like no much mining companies did so for those for their investors, and also sustainably, right? Our operations, like I mentioned in the observation link, like all the servers currently is online, but if there is some offline mining servers, we try to make sure that the mining server go back online as soon as possible. So I think from these two things, I think our investors is both coming from the Web2 and not the Web3. For the Web2, maybe you are going to get retired pretty soon, and you are finding some investment choices that have some yield every month or every quarters or every year, and also you don't want to bear lots of risk. So that's the first, I think the investors who might interested in HAG. Or if you are institutions, right, you are also just you are want to find some risk sensitive, the risk that is not that they high, but you could bear more risk, right? But you want everything to be compliant, because in a traditional world, if you are doing a business, everything should be compliant. I think HAG is sending a good position for you guys to consider as well, right? And also, if you are the Web3 investors, we talk about the RWA, the tokenizations, right? Like BlackRock, they are considering tokenize some RWA as well. So I think this is also some good starting point for Web2 investors to take some serious focus on this tokenized RWA fashions that happens within the industry. So overall, I think what I want to mention is that HAG, we try to get the benefits or some advantages both from Web2 and Web3, and try to make some innovations in terms of technology and also the financial part. Okay, so here I provide you, since I mentioned about those alternative investments in the past. So now I would like to check out if HAG doesn't happen, we are not here, right? What choice you might have, right? This is the main points I want to share with you. I will not share any comparisons or give it out any suggestion I have. What I want to focus is that's deep into some their historical performance. That's it. And this is not a financial advice as well. So I think if you are considering investing in HAG, two main categories you might consider. First is the other Bitcoin mining companies, right? So For those other mining companies, I give you some some example I could provide you. So yeah, from here, I listed out some big Bitcoin mining companies in the history. So first is the Marathon Digital Holdings, or with the 4.9 billion market cap, or CleanSpark with 4.1 billion market cap, the Riot, the blockchain, 2.9 billion, and Cipher Mining and Big Deer, each all around above billion market caps. So typically for those mining companies that distribute their yield based on the EPS. And EPS, typically they need to consider the depreciation or some other factors, right? So typically they do not get the capability to distribute their net yield. So here's a number, right? The dividends per stock. If you look back their history, those five companies, the only one that give out the dividends before is the Riot blockchain. They give you $1 per stock in 2017. I think this is the only time they give out the dividends. So yeah, this is some distribution results for those Bitcoin mining companies. I will stop it right here. Okay, and I think you could do your own homework, right, and try to make sure that what we provide is correct. Okay. And the other things you might consider when you are doing you're making your investment decisions. The second thing is some alternative investments choices, right? For this part, we select some Japanese investment choices for you guys, 10-year government bonds. The yield currently is slightly below 1%. And for the US 10-year government bonds, the yield is around 4.7% to 5%, right? And also the riots, right? Here is some tokenized real estate. It's called the riots. The J riots, the yield is about 4+ % as well. And also here are some companies in Japan that showcase their APR in the past. I think in the previous year. And for the US, the index, the S&P 500 or some Dow Jones, maybe the index is around 10% at most. So we could provide you some alternative investment choices, like those Bitcoin mining companies, and also the indexing company, ETF, riots, or here the government bonds, or different dividends bearing stocks, listed companies in Japan or in the US. So yeah, this is the things that we would like to provide you. Here's all historical data, and me personally will stop by here, and we don't want to give you any advice, but you could consider and do your own homework afterwards. So yeah, like I mentioned, please, if you have any questions now, please just leave or type it in the chat sections. I think we could go through it. Okay. Let me check out my colleague is also collecting the questions from Telegrams or on Twitter. So yeah. So I think me personally got some good questions on the Twitters. So currently based on PPM, we will distribute the net yield on the fifth business day of each month. And so the fifth business day for this month, for May, is the May the 7th. So I think this is not it's not the fifth day of every month, it's the fifth business day. And I think all of this is written on our PPM. And I think another question is that how do you choose between the the second tranche of the primary offering, or you should acquire HAG via the secondary market. So if you buy the HAG using the secondary markets, the price might fluctuate. To be honest, like liquidity depth in INX for HAG is not that big, and currently I think the price is $100, several days ago, and now it's about $84. So since the depth is not that big, if you want to invest like $5,000, for example, maybe $84 you will need to take away all the $84 position and buy it to $100 positions. So that means that your average acquisition cost from the secondary markets might be around like 80 somethings or 90 somethings for your acquisition cost. So if you want to invest in HAG with some like more the amount is higher, right? I think if you participate in the second tranche of offering, the price will be fixed at $71 per HAG. Of course, you will need to wait till the closure of this second tranche, but I think of course we will work hard to let more people to know about HAG. We talk with some like institutions in Hong Kong, in Taiwan, Japan, or different in Korea also, to let more people, both institution investors and also retail investors, to know about us. But I think we also need you guys, to let more people know about HAG. I think this is the mutual way to let us grow. For example, this is like, for example, I think we got different community members on Twitter that will share some insights that we shared it on the Twitter or on X, and you could provide your own opinions, of course, or you don't have to provide your own opinions. I think you should retweet. I think retweets is also very helpful, right? To let more people, to let your families, your friends know about HAG. We are confident in ourselves because we are compliant enough, and we are doing the things every month. In the past 2 months, we distribute the net yield in WBTC as promised on the PPM. And this month, very soon, we'll also distribute our third net yield distribution as well. So I think we work hard to prove ourselves that we are trying to carry out the business plan we have on a PPM. So we are confident in ourselves. I think we appreciate all the confidence that our existing investors provide us. And I think it is the time for us to let more people know about us, to quickly close the second tranche, to boost up the economy scale, and to try to make some economy efficiency. I think this is the mutual, bilateral, or even different, it's beneficial from every aspect to let more people know about us, right? So yeah, I think transparency is pretty important. We have this kind of community calls today's here. So give you some summaries here. First, we talk about the transparency, especially on the observation link we provide you. You could check out. Everything is real time without manual manipulation. And this is the full transparency that not much companies could provide to the investors. And we all go through some key index, some key figures on the observation link as well. As in addition to that, we also share with you some mining outlooks, right? After the halving, right? The total hash rate remains goes up a little bit after halving and remains about steady, right? And this is not strange. Typically, we could wait for 1 month to 2 months to let those competitors realize to get those buffer to get lower and lower. So I think that's a time that our operation could shine after that. And in addition to this, we also share with you some alternative investments we have for you guys, like mining companies, right? And some ETF, riots, treasury bonds or different things or different APR they could provide you. Okay, so I think this is a summary we have for you guys. Okay, I see there's a question, another question pop-ups in the chat. Let me read the question to you guys. Is there any reason why the minimum investment can't be reduced? Yeah, I think this is a good question. So currently our minimum investment threshold is $5,000. The reason why we need to have this minimum investment threshold is to try to maintain the economy of scale. What I mean is that, like, typically in the past, right, if you want to invest in Bitcoin mining business, first you need to spend some money to acquire mining servers, right? And you have to spend the freight, I mean the shipment fees to ship those mining servers, and all the costs will cost you lots of money. So to make sure that we could accumulate the investments, I mean based on the dollar signs, the investments as efficient as we can, to make sure we could quickly achieve those economy of scale to close this change. That's why we have this minimum investment threshold. However, if you already invested in the first change and also the second change that is above this minimum investment threshold, you could have any additional investment that could last than $5,000. For example, if you invested in $5,000 in the second change or first change, you could invest additional like $100, right, later on, or you could $10, anything. You could have any small amount of investment after you pass the threshold. Everything is acceptable, and in fact, me personally recommend this kind of additional investment as well, because we have shared our analysis to showcase you the power of compounding, the power of reinvestment. So every month, if you get a WBTC, maybe you could take part of the WBTC to make some reinvestments. So you don't have to be $5,000 after your first investment that passed the threshold. You could have any additional investments. So I think thank you, Shadow, for your questions. And I think if you already is our investors that pays the $5,000, you could have any additional investment that is less than $5,000. And the reason why the first time investment need to pay the 5K threshold is because of we need to reach the economy of scale to make sure that we could accumulate certain amount of money that could help us quickly close the change. So this is the answers I have to your questions. Oh, by the way, I think this week, I think for this week, we got some record hits. I think there are lots of viewers for us this time. Maybe this is because I changed my computer and everything is become smooth. And I think, by the way, you could drop the comments below, right? If you if you have any recommendations, like how do you think about us to have this kind of similar like YouTube live stream MA in the future? I think we could do so, right? Like we could also invite some speakers, right? Like from Magic Circle, from INX, or from different RWA projects, to have some collaborations and share with you via the live stream on the YouTube. I think we could also do this. So just leave anything you recommend, you suggest, or you could leave any questions down after, like in the comments down below. I think we will answer you and we would love to answer you, right? So yeah, I think it's pretty good for us, right? Last, I think this is the QR code for you to quickly check out our second change of fundraising. It's on INX. and the minimum investment threshold if you are first time investment is $5,000. But after that, you could make any additional investments. So yeah, I think really appreciate that all the like 100 plus participants that spend with me at this moment of time. Hope you have some some like great weekends, great Sundays, and I think see you pretty soon in our upcoming space. So take care, and I think look forward to our next anime in the future. Bye, guys.